Alright. You're alive. Testes, testes. Sound check. Check one, check two. Is the microphone working? That sounds better. That sounds better. All right. That can't be right. Let's confirm this. Shenanigans. Welcome in. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. So glad you could attend. Move along, move along. There behind the glass is a single blade of grass. Be careful as you pass. Come inside, come inside. Okay, what's going on here? Oh boy. Uh-oh. Say that again. Okay, where did I go? Where am I? Oh boy, what are you celebrating today? What's the Matao? You just came for the Nontent? You came to the right place. Got a bunch of that. Got a bunch of that for you. Actually got a little bit to talk about. Quit looking all lost and confused like that. It's pitiful. I'm doing the best I can, man. Lost and confused. There's worse things that you could do. So I've been pricing out some parts. And looking for for a high pressure oil pump. It's not looking good. Yeah, it's not looking bad either. The lowest price I've been able to find so far is about $1,200. We're still waiting on some quotes. Still waiting on some quotes. So I'm hoping I can secure me one of them pumps when I go back to Manitoba. And we'll be departing tomorrow morning. So that's a 2 days journey across half the Canadian Rockies and almost the entirety of Canadian prairies. And as you all remember, we're trying to raise $2,000 to buy a Dodge Charger with a custom headliner so we can do a meetup with Direct D, who from what I understand is named in Chris Ryder's lawsuit. So there's a bunch of stuff happened on the YouTubes yesterday. I think Ruff went live. I didn't partake of that. There were some other interesting goings on there. Well, with a full house like this, you must be there already. Yeah, we're getting close. So $2,000 to buy a Dodge Charger so we can head out to Concho, Arizona. Let's pull this up a bit so I can actually read it. That's better. Yeah, the dono should meet our goal pretty quickly. I don't see why that'll be a problem at all. How much coffee is 2,000 calculated on a daily basis? Like per bean? I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't done the math. But I did find $1 on the ground the other day, so that was good. But per bean, I'd probably need at least 50 beans. Maybe 100. I don't know. I think they're selling in the store for about $2 a piece per bean up here in Canada. Quite a bit. Inflation has hit us hard. Well, what did we see yesterday? Yesterday there was some interesting content out there, as opposed to this Nontent, which you clicked on here. change ready to do some laundry before we head out tomorrow. You're gonna need to go without however much that comes to you, or ditch the smokes. Well, smokes are so cheap, you almost can't afford not to smoke. So. I think we can crowdfund our charger with a custom headliner. That was a headliner procured from a daycare center. Steal their drapes and staple it up in place of the stock headliner. Oh. All right, where are the rest of the usual suspects? Everybody get jobs or what? Well, what did we see yesterday? There was an interview with Eric Brandt yesterday on the John Felix channel, no less. Shout out to John and the rest of his Felaxians. I didn't see it live. I caught the replay, and I just watched the interview part with Eric. I'm not too familiar with Eric Brandt, but from what I know, he's kind of caged up for saying words that people don't like. I thought I stole the curtains from some old folks' home or someplace to get the headliner. Well, I'm talking specifically about Christopher Ruff's Charger. I don't know if you've ever seen the interior of his Charger, but there's a headliner that clearly looks like it was stolen from a local daycare. Specifically the drapes or possibly the carpet, like a rug or something. I'm not sure. My window coverings, a lot of these were just these were part of the decor when I bought the RV. So this cover and these blankets were all here. Everything's here. I just got the windows covered up so I don't get breezes. I didn't want to seal up the windows with plastic, so just to keep the breeze out, I hung these up and kind of keeps it nice and shady. But yeah, these are not stolen. These are all legit. Everything here is legit. We got a bit of natural sunlight coming in through the windscreen of the Winnebago. Well, yeah, Eric Brandt I kind of see as a canary in the coal mine situation. I didn't watch the sentencing part that someone had posted, Joe Black, I believe. Didn't watch that part of the interview with John Felix, but I caught the phone call from prison where he's currently in Colorado, serving time for saying stuff that's not particularly a danger to anybody. And if you're following his exploits, you may be released as early as this Christmas. So whatever you know or feel or think you know or feel about the situation, you may be a free man again relatively soon. Serving a 12-year sentence, 3 consecutive 4-year sentences stacked on top of one another, and parole eligibility after 6 years with credit for good behavior. And it sounds like he's been trying to make the best of his time where he's at, but very unfortunate that the system is going after him in such a diabolical way. We'll welcome in Justin Garza, chairman of the board of the Lorata Corporation. Loratas all around. From what I understand, it all started with the chat saying Lorata in the chat. You can correct me if I've got the lore incorrect, but I think that's how it started. And I can guarantee nobody's restreaming this. So yeah, the Eric Brandt situation. I wasn't part of the chat dialogue or what was going on there. but all the usual suspects were viewing the interview. So whatever, I don't have much of an opinion on that other than what I just said. Eric is kind of a canary in the coal mine. If they could find a way to put you in a cage for words, I mean, I guess they're gonna try. I saw a headline the other day, or maybe this morning. Some Canadian dude was fined 750,000 Canadian dollars for saying words about trans people. Oh, whatever. I'm sure that's some form of justice in the minds of somebody who makes laws, but it sounds a little cray-cray to me, if you ask. If you happen to ask my opinion, nobody does. And then the other news, this one I found a little more compelling right after John Felix went live. There was an interview with Sean Porter on West Side Accountability's channel with who is it again? Press Harder, I think, was doing the interview. Yeah, Press Harder. I don't know a lot about Press Harder, although I've seen some of his content, but the discussion at hand had to do with Lion One, Andrea, and Billy Benghazi Rabbit. So it seems like there's some criminalities going on there around the estate of Andrea. I don't know Andrea's last name off the top of my head. But she was, in fact, what's the right word? Died under mysterious circumstances? Is that the most accurate way of portraying what happened? There seems to be conflicting stories, and depending on who you ask. And so Sean Porter was giving his take on what's been happening since the demise. Well, I want you to feel as uncomfortable as possible when you decide to click on this video. So I must be doing the right thing. I'm doing my job, but Sean was giving some details of what's been going on. Apparently, Andrea's family has a civil suit against Billy, and there have been certain YouTubers that have been coming to his defense. But the kind of gist of it is that Billy was not supposed to be allowed access to the property that Andrea owned. And so he violated essentially a court order, as well as sold some equipment to fund some travel to Indiana and other parts of the nation, as well as used Andrea's father's credit card, a business credit card, for personal expenses. So all these are kind of falling into the category of criminal and contempt of court violations. As well, within the next month, there seems to be mounting evidence that an indictment for Andrea's death is what Billy will be facing within the next month. So that's all getting very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. Welcome in, Jamie. Larata to you, my friend. So just in the last 24, when was the last time we talked? On Saturday? Today's Monday. Kind of a non-day. I'm just in a holding pattern until departing for parts east. So let's see, maybe I'll put that link to West Side if anybody missed that. Where did I have it up here? Well, let me grab it real quick. I'll put the link in the chat if anybody missed the Sean Porter interview. It was on West Side Accountability's channel. Why can't I find history? Yeah, we'll post it here. I'll find a way. History, there we go. Dang. Just had it and then it went away. Okay. Yeah, this was streamed yesterday. Let's just get the link for you guys. I found it fascinating as all get out. And so Todd was mentioned, aka genderly suspicious or genetically general specific. Y'all know Todd, right? Come on, click. So Todd was one that was pretty much defending Benghazi Rabbit this whole time in his quest to see Ryder put in a cage. So it's kind of an interesting development that seems that not a lot of what. Oh man. I think my laptop's gonna go to sleep right away. Okay. Struggling. Okay, I think that copied. Let's see what happens here. Nope. Try that again. Copy. Okay, I think it copied that time. Sorry about the dead air. It's not so much generally specific, but generally suspicious. So that was the link to the Sean Porter interview with Press presented by Westside Accountability's channel. I'm not too familiar with any of these. I've heard the name Sean Porter. I might have watched a little bit of his content over the years. Good to the last tweak. There you go. But yeah, that whole situation, it just, to the casual observer watching the story as told by YouTubers, nothing having to do with Andrea's death seemed to line up. And I've been following the story that closely, but there's people closer to the situation that definitely have been. Press Harder was a friend of Andrea's. I don't know the Sean Porter connection to the whole situation necessarily, but somebody is trying to do some investigative work. And yeah, last I heard, it was like there was a grand jury that was going to be looking at potential charges, criminal charges for Andrea's death. And so that's a good development, I think. Am I wrong or am I wrong? It's it just yeah, the sketchiest of circumstances. I mean, I'm not going to go through the whole story because I'm going to get details wrong, and I don't want to risk giving any misinformation, disinformation here. If I did, it would be because of user error, not because of intentional deceit or attempt to lie to y'all. But yeah, the death of Lion One was just the weirdest story, and so that was in May of last year, May of 2025. So now by March 2026, things are starting to move, and Benghazi Rabbit has been pulling some shenanigans as far as corporate credit card usage, which is forbidden under this circumstances. The trespass order was violated, or no trespass order, as well as selling proceeds from the estate, which again is forbidden. So it seems like there's stuff coming down around his ears. March 26th. Were you born or were you just spawned? I don't know. I have to talk to your mother about that one. She would give us some of the intel there. So yeah, I found some of these Sunday developments. Today's the 23rd, so February 22nd. It seemed like there was a lot that kind of dropped on some of the stuff. Nancy's still not. I don't know if Billy knows anything about Nancy, but I mean, that might just be conjecture. From what I understand, Nancy Guthrie is still looking for Grandma. And I'm going to be going and doing some laundry soon. Yeah, I just figured to see who was interested in some Nontent today, because that's what we do here. Got some movement on what I need to do with the truck, so we're moving in that correct direction along a certain trajectory. So maybe by the end of 2026 we'll have that thing running again. I got another subscriber. I think I'm up to 492, which is just batshit crazy. Let's see here. Let's go check. Let's go check what's going on studio. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of this. So we're growing by leaps and bounds here, folks. This is amazing growth on our march to 1 million subs. Maybe by that time somebody will buy me a coffee. You never know. Doesn't matter. Yeah, my laptop is just not very happy right now. Let's close some of these tabs. Let's close a tab or two. See if that helps us out. I don't know about you, but for some reason Studio takes forever to load up on this thing. Must be a lot of sub. 493. Holy shit. You can just see the growth right before your eyes. Amazing. That's crazy. Still, I'm a little mystified why anybody would watch this. You guys would know better than me. So we're not going to do a poll. But yeah, I am kind of curious to see what's going to happen in what the? We need to confirm it's really you? Well, the March babies. My mom's guy, I think, has got a March birthday too. How about, what do you say, don't worry about confirming whether it's me. I assure you, I'm the only one interested in this. So whatever, YouTube is employing some security measures. They don't believe that it's me that is actually trying to look at my channel analytics on Studio. Who else would look at that? Egregious. Absolutely egregious. There was some Hoe for Life content posted the last few days. Found entertaining. Go check out Hoe for Life mashups. Still waiting for somebody to do an AI rendering of Bao Quoc Nugent in Cookie Monster pajamas. I had an idea for another, what was it? What the hell was it? Oh yeah, if somebody could do a Rickroll with the Badger's face instead of Rick Astley, that would be really cool too. Yeah, we're not verifying shit here, YouTube. That is weird. I've never seen that before. Yeah, we're not doing any of that shit. I'm just gonna close it down. To heck with you. 493 subs. I think that's crazy amazing. I don't know why. Fascinated by irrelevant, inconsequential shit. So happy early birthday to Justin and Awesome Mattel. I got a birthday coming up. I forget. November-ish. Mark the date on your calendar. November Madness. Oh, time for another coffee. It's almost time to do laundry. I'll let you guys figure out what's going on YouTube all by yourself. I can't just hold you by the hand and guide you to all the best content. But yeah, I'll be curious to see what happens on genderly suspicious streams, because it seems like that whole crew is kind of misguided, place their trust in a somewhat misguided fashion, as is my humble opinion here. And yeah, I might have to go back and try to watch some Dead ARD and see what his comments were about being named in Chris Ryder's lawsuit, which I think they're going to be in the courtroom again sometime in March, middle of the month. I forget, it was March 16th or something. There was a continuance there. So there's lots of interesting stuff going on. That I mean, hey, we're talking about someone losing their life. The story is she took her own life, and it seems that there's only a small handful of people in the universe that actually believe that account. It seems there was enough motive to connect the situation to some level of foul play. We don't have details, don't know exactly what's going on, but the behavior of the people of interest connected to that situation is just a bunch of tweak shenanigans. So that could be a whole deal. That could be a whole chronicle within TweekFest 2026. We see what would it be? First degree murder charges? I don't know what the indictment will be, but someone, I think it was Sean Porter, was being interviewed yesterday. He mentioned the electric chair in North Carolina for the people of interest that are connected to that situation. So very, very, very compelling YouTube drama going on out there. So I'm just repeating what I heard. I'm not offering any insight other than to say I didn't believe for a second that there was any legitimacy to Lion One taking her own life. That just it just didn't pass the sniff test in any way, shape, or form. So again, correct me if I'm wrong. If you believe that's what happened, then I'm willing to hear whatever side of the story, whatever compelling evidence you may have, but just none of the behavior, the subsequent behavior of Billy and those connected with the Benghazi rabbit camp seem to add up. And it just looks sketchy as all get out. So that was my excitement for yesterday. So today we're trying to keep it as little excitement as possible. Real low key, Nontent TweekOut here. I'm just smoking out the Winnebago. I probably should crack a window, get some fresh air. It's pretty mild today. The cat wants something. I wish I could speak cat. What? Why don't you tell it to the good people? Explain your case to them. Tell them what you know. Tell them your side. Yeah, she married him. Why did she marry him? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, well, we might not ever know because she's gone. She can't provide that information, but that's a damn good question. Why did she marry him? It's just, I don't know. We've got a lot of circumstantial evidence at this point. None of it looks good. If you're making the claim that she wrote a suicide note and decided to do herself with a pew pew, like it's just, females typically don't do that. They'll do the over medication, try to overdose kind of thing. Things that are physically traumatic, especially to the face. Like that's not their style. Women typically don't pull the trigger and splatter their insides of their skull all over the place. That's just not. It's rare. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just rare. And yeah, just the 911 calls. The body was discovered, and Rabbit's first response was to call somebody else instead of 911. So it looks ridiculous on the surface of it. Why did she marry him? That question is going to remain unanswered, and it was a very short, how do you say, engagement, and they were married, what, a year or less? So just the totality of the circumstances and all the facts pertaining to it, it just doesn't look like it makes any sense whatsoever. The official story that you'd have us believe. Now, what is the family doing in the meantime? Well, it seems like they put measures in place to protect the estate against Rabbit's access, which he seems to be violating. So yeah, they're gonna go after him on that. So what became kind of civil action against Rabbit has escalated to now formal criminal charges with the credit card use, selling some equipment off of the property, and having access to the property. He was told not to be there. I think he even live streamed from the property that he was told not to trespass on. So that's pretty bold. That's some pretty bold moves. But we'll get to the bottom of this. We'll get to the bottom of this. Some resemblance of the truth, or resemblance to the truth, will present itself over the next month. So yeah, we'll keep our eye on that situation. I don't know if we'll talk about it much here, but if you weren't privy to some of the bombshell revelations that happened yesterday, that's what's going on. I think that's very, very interesting. Maybe we'll find Nancy in the meantime too. I don't know. It seems like Mexico is undergoing some turmoil. The cartels are tweaking out hard. So we'll watch that too. I mean, Up here in my Winnebago, it doesn't really affect me much, but our government seems to think that we're gonna replace our trade with America and replace it with trade with Mexico because they're a safer option. The headline I saw earlier today is that 55%, that's more than half of all Canadians, think that the United States of America is a greater security risk than either China or Russia at this point. So that tells you the delusion that's going on in the 51st state here. So a little cray-cray. So the people that are in charge here would rather us have a meaningful partnership with Mexico than with the United States because your authoritarian, tyrannical, fascist, Hitlerian leader is making everybody scared. So. Can somebody make it make sense to me? I just the whole damn world's gone crazy. So, in a way, that's kind of reassuring because I knew this day was coming, or we knew it was going to happen. But it seems like the snowball is gaining momentum, and it's increasing in size as it rolls down that hill. So. Very interesting. May you live in interesting times. But the matter at hand is to get ready for my trip back east tomorrow. So I think we'll cut this off. Just wanted to get on here and share some of the things that I've come across in the last 24 hours or so. And we'll maybe regroup. I don't know. I don't know if we'll do any kind of live streaming on the road. But certainly once I get back to Winnipeg, I'll be able to give you updates. I'll be able to show you the high pressure oil pump in my filthy little farmer fingers. Look how filthy they are. It's filthy. So that's priority one for me. So. And on the way back, I'll keep my eye out for any signs of Nancy. If she should happen to have been taken by Canadian rogue cells of kidnappers or something, that's a bit of a stretch. It's kind of a long shot. I'm not expecting to find Nancy, but I will definitely keep my eye open for her. If I see her between here and Winnipeg, not likely gonna result in any kind of cracking of the case, but with my current knowledge, she's still missing. And there's still people. JLR is on site. Wild situation. Wild situations. So we shall see you the next time we see you, unless we don't. In any case, as we march on towards 1 million subscribers, be sure to like, share, subscribe, save, hype. Oh yeah, I was talking about the hype feature. I think it's on the mobile. So let's just. I think this is gay as all get out. But let's see if it's there. You guys hear about this hype button? I think it's pretty sketchy. Yeah. That's still uploading? That's crazy. Okay, let's see if I, just so you don't think I'm just tweaking out and making stuff up. Don't think I'm just tweaking out and making stuff up. I mean, I could be, but all right. So. Maybe that feature isn't available on this channel. I don't know. But I've been seeing this hype button, and it looks goofy. Let's put a like on this. I guess there's not a means of doing that. Is it on the share? Nope. Let's see. Anyways, there is a hype button that YouTube has introduced in the last month or so. I don't know exactly when. I'm gonna have to do some research. Yeah, hit that fingers up button. Ghislaine Maxwell, she's out and about. Ew. That's creepy. And if you don't like this video, hit the thumbs down, but just make sure you hit it twice. Okay, I know I've seen the hype button. I can't prove it to you at this point. So you'll have to take my word for it. So search for that. Let me know what you think of that hype button. I think you're allowed so many hypes per day or something, or whatever. Disturbing illusion. Yeah, I haven't watched what's his face in a while. So his content started getting a little odd. Just his presentation of it. So kind of sus. Brian, yeah, from Disturbing Illusion. So I haven't been checking out that content much. It seems like he's trying to perform in a way. Something just doesn't sit right with me. So I'm not saying it's good, bad, or otherwise. It just he seemed to tweak out a little bit. I'm not sure why. It seemed like it just kind of randomly started to change his presentation, his personality. It just, I don't. I mean, do what you feel is best, but it just seemed weird. The truth makes me uncomfortable. No, it's not the truth makes me uncomfortable. The truth is rather comfortable. Just Brian has kind of slipped into a category of less reliable. Just that's a gut feeling. So I'm not saying he's a fad or anything, but the last time I clicked on Here's the Deal or Disturbing Illusion, it just seemed off. So I'm not. I got scared, I guess. I'll admit it. I got scared. Gibberish is gibberish. I mean, this is a bunch of tweak babble, but it's like when Alex Jones was. Who was he sitting down with? It wasn't Nick Fuentes. It was that other Stu Peters. Do you remember, like 3, 4, 5 years ago? Stu Peters was in Alex Jones' And I wasn't watching Alex Jones much at that point, but I was paying attention to what Stu Peters had to say. Uh, and was just curious. And Alex Jones was talking like he was under some form of mind control. Welcome in, Dad. Speaking of mind control, welcome USA Inc. I'm here for the G Bang. Is Pivot still available? I understand about 30% of what you just said there. I don't know what the G Bang? Pivot? Still. I'll just go ahead and say yes. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, we tried to start up the Power Smoke yesterday. Gangbang. Oh. Well, no gangbanging happening at this particular moment in time, but I'll see what I can do. Maybe we could do a stream later on with some gangbanging. I'm not promising anything. And let's see what. Yeah, so the truck, it wants to try to fire, but just from the sound of it cranking, I can tell that it's not building high pressure oil, and so it comes close. Even sitting there cold, the thing is just not willing to start up at this point. So I need that high pressure oil pump replaced. And you guys are sick. You guys are tweaking hard. And so it came close to want to start. You could hear it trying to fire those injectors, but those hydraulic injectors are just not getting the pressure they need. So, I mean, I'm gonna pick up a pump because I want a new pump in it, regardless of whether there's any life in the old pump or not. Because if I do decide to sell it, I'd like to sell it with a good functional pump. The only two places left that I could have any significant leaks on that truck are in the fuel rail itself with the nipple cups. If you saw any of my Power Stroke repair blow by blow in the past, I pointed out those nipple cups that the injectors sit below the nipple cups, and those have a rubber seal in them. So it's possible that those, since I sealed up all the injectors and all the other seals in the up pipe, or stand pipe, I guess you call it, and the other spots that I resealed, it's possible those could have let go, but I'm thinking it's the pump itself. So the compression is fine. You can hear when you're cranking the engine. There's no lack of compression. It's all smooth sound coming from the piston cycling. So there's really no indication that a valve is stuck or a lifter is stuck or anything like that. But what I will do is pull the IPR valve and do my air leak test again. But I'll be doing it cold. Really, you're supposed to do that air leak test with the engine oil hot and the seals hot. But it doesn't even want to fire up. So I'll do it cold. It'll give me an indication, because when I had done the leak test after sealing the injectors and all those other O-rings that I replaced, it wasn't leaking any air. So I'm still under the belief that it's not air leaks, it's the pump that in fact has failed. But as far as I know, those nipple cups, those have never been replaced. It's rare that they fail, though. I'm not saying they can't fail, but it's rare. So again, it's kind of some detective diagnostic understanding of how that system works, but it's like a hydraulic system on a tractor, for a lift bucket, or if the rubber seals in the piston go, well, you're not going to be able to maintain pressure to extend that piston in the hydraulic cylinder. So if you replace that seal, that piston seal, and you're still not able to build pressure, well, then you either got a leak in the system or your pump is fried. So I'm kind of deducing that my pump is roasted at this point. So again, whether it's got another few kilometers or miles left in it, we're not going to take a chance. We're just going to replace that thing. But before I replace it, I'll do the air test just to see if there's further areas that may be leaking within that closed system. So can't build pressure, can't fire those injectors. That's just the way it works. So that's the way Ford rolls. And I don't know if I can necessarily blame Ford on this one. That might just be international. But what I'm finding too is I'm only able to find remanufactured oil pumps, unless I were to go to a non-stock option. But as I said in the previous stream, I think we're going to try to keep it stock. And if somebody wants to buy that thing and make upgrades, well, they can go ahead themselves. There's no check valve. The IPR, injector pressure regulator, that pretty much, it's not your check valve, but it's an actuator valve that tries to supply the correct amount of pressure. But I guess if there is a check valve, it would be in the pump itself, and the pump is non-serviceable from a consumer standpoint. So that would have to be rebuilt by somebody that has the ability to rebuild them. Like it's not something you can just pull out, throw on the bench, and reseal it, or it's a non-serviceable case. You'd have to cut it open and then weld it shut again. Should have bought a Chevy instead. I'm not a motor engine guy, even I know that. Well, I guess the problem with Chevys is the rest of the drivetrain, the transmissions, and all else. And the Power Stroke is a fairly decent platform. There are known deficiencies in it. All trucks have, or all vehicles have deficiencies that are fairly well known. I guess that's the beauty of buying something used, is either the previous owner will figure out what's wrong with it, and if they're decent enough, they'll tell you what they know is wrong with the vehicle. But if you buy a new vehicle, especially when a new generation of that vehicle is manufactured, you're basically getting a prototype, and not all the kinks have been worked out. So sometimes it's better to go with an older generation model of whatever vehicle you're looking at than to get something that has a bunch of unknowns. Like, who knows? But yeah, I'm not opposed to buying Chevys. It's just you're not necessarily getting ahead of the game if you're going to replace X number of transmissions in the life of that vehicle versus one or two pumps. Yeah, if I could go the Cummins route, I would, but it's sort of, as I was saying, it'd be nice to do the Fummins swap on the truck. I was looking at doing that on the previous parts truck because I didn't want to fix the head issue with that. Avoid the Duramax. Yeah, the Duramax is a little difficult to work on. I didn't work. I can't say I'm a Duramax expert. I've never really done much on the engines themselves, but the HD 2500 or 3500s, I did do like front axle repairs, and in comparison, like on the Chevy platform, whether it's a Silverado or even a GMC, I mean the front axle is kind of maybe an inch and a quarter diameter, whereas the Power Stroke is 1 7/8, 2 inches on the front axles. I mean, they're built Ford tough. I mean, so LLYs are second gens. Yeah, I suppose I could, switch over to Chevy, but I'm familiar with the Ford platform and kind of know what to look for, what you're dealing with, and have done enough repairs of my own on those vehicles that troubleshooting is not so bad. Like I'm not operating a mechanic shop this time where I'm working on all makes and all models, but I've worked on plenty of makes and models, whether it's brake jobs or cooling issues and diagnostics. So, I'll just stick with this Ford, but have to decide whether it's practical to even keep it. Unless I get involved in some heavy hauling of some kind, of a 1-ton truck is not quite economical for what I intend to use it for. I don't know what I intend to use it for, just driving around, I guess. But they are fun to drive. Welcome in, Jody. Good to see you. Duramax are the most complicated diesels. Yeah, I can't say. I don't know the ins and outs of the Duramax, but I'll take your word for it. But yeah, the Cummins swap I was holding that out as an option on the 2004 F250 I had, but the body was so rotten on that thing, it just wasn't worth going after it. The rust was kind of getting after everything, so I was able to salvage a good amount of parts there out of that thing, but a lot of it was just scrap metal. So like the doors were all rusted out. 94 Cummins Ram gets 30 miles to gallon. That's pretty good. So yeah, we'll get that thing back on the road. We'll be working on that through March. I mean, I'll be back here. Today's the 23rd. I should be back here a week from tomorrow, which would be March. Oh, today's the 23rd. Yeah, so we love Chris Ryder today. We want to see Chris Ryder get his day in court. Fuck everybody else. But yeah, I'll be back on the 3rd from the looks of the calendar. I'm just looking at the calendar over the window there. 2nd or 3rd. I'll leave Winnipeg Saturday or Sunday. And then we'll get back to work on the Power Smoke. And keep our eyes out for a Cummins if one should come along. But I don't think we'll do a Cummins swap on the 1-ton here. But, I was hoping it would have made sense to keep that 3/4 ton on the road, but it just wasn't worth it. It would have been just a money pit at that point, replacing body parts and everything to keep its safety. So. So with that, I think we'll just wind it down. Again, what I've been discovering over the last 24 hours is Eric Brandt is doing well, and looking forward to hopefully an early release by Christmas time. Spoke with John Felix yesterday, and then revelations about the Andrea Lyon 1 suspected murder charges coming within the next month against Benghazi Rabbit. So that was covered on West Side Accountability. I think I put the link further up in the chat there. West Side Accountability had Sean Porter and Press Harder discussing the situation, and so there's a lot of shenanigans going on there. So that's a story we'll be keeping our eye on. And of course, everyone is always welcome to buy me a coffee, because we've got a goal to raise $2,000 to buy a Dodge Charger with a custom headliner stolen from Arizona daycare, and we'll do a meetup with Direct D. If we can raise the $2,000, we'll do a collab, and I'll grab that Charger with the funky headliner, the drapes from the daycare center, and we'll head down to Concho, and we'll see. I think that's not an unrealistic goal, but you can support that goal by buying me a coffee. Direct douche. Oh, I can think of more incendiary insults. But Dead Air D. Let's meet up with Dead Air D. It's only $2,000. I didn't find out how his collab with Bao went. I think that was all a scam, if you ask me. And the people who got scammed were DirectD's audience. So. I've met him. He's flipped his lid. Yeah. He seems like. Well, I guess when did you meet him? He seems like he's acting like a gatekeeper asset type at this point. So nothing you see on any of his channels can be counted as reliable information. We watch because it's fun watching a tweaker crash out. So we don't want to see that come to an end. We want to, if anything, stoke the fire there, cause the crash out to intensify if possible. You know, if we can play a part in that, I think that's a noble endeavor. I met him when he was still doing audits. Oh, you're in Mesa. Okay, for whatever reason I thought you were more in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, I think he's got some issues in Mesa, and some warranties and other things that are keeping him from just traveling freely, like a free tweaker on the land. Yeah, I heard the rumors that move to Montana was coming. I heard that from another tweaker. But yeah, you go, Direct D, free tweaker on the land. Sovereign goat herder, goat rancher. Yeah, I know. Wassa is in the Pacific Northwest. For whatever reason, I thought you were more on the west side as well. Not so much the Southwest, but either California or Pacific Northwest. I don't know what made me think that. I didn't know you were in Arizona. But yeah, Tweaker D, let's see him tweak on. Because yeah, there's a whole kind of rogues gallery of characters involved with. There's JJ Scarborough, there's Direct D, there's generally specific is kind of getting all enmeshed with this. There's and all his audience, you know, whether it's Killamilla and Finkel, throwing up the Pacific Northwest gang sign. That's what this. I think this is the gang sign for this for people in the South. I could be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, like there's kind of all these YouTubers that are intertwined in not obvious ways, but it's like all these loose strings seems like people are willing to tug on these loose strings, and suddenly it's like, oh, you found a connection. So maybe Ryder's onto something. I don't know. We're not gonna put forth an opinion at this point, but things are starting to shake up a little bit. You know, we might end up having a Woody Woodpecker laugh at the end of all this, or maybe we'll have a Peckerwood laugh at the end of all this. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe the white supremacists will come out on top. Hard to say. Hard to say. Very hard to say. But I'm sure somebody's going to be spending some time in a cage once all the dust settles. It won't be me, and it won't be Max. But that's where we're at. More Nontent for your viewing pleasure. I gotta get some laundry done, so I'm gonna go attack that right now. And we'll catch you probably once I'm back in Manitoba. I don't think I'll have time, unless something really comes up. Say between now and this evening, I'm kind of getting ready to hit the road tomorrow. So it'll be traveling for the next few days and roaming around the old hood. And yeah, the fingernail painting. Don't know what that means, but thank you all for coming. Thank you all for leaving, and you know what to do. Tweak on like you've never tweaked before.